Soul contracts, the sacred blueprint of your life. What if the life you're living right now, the people you've encountered, the challenges you've faced, the heartbreaks and triumphs, was all part of a sacred plan you designed before you were even born? This isn't merely poetic speculation. It's a profound concept found in ancient, spiritual traditions and modern metaphysical teachings. It's called pre-birth planning. And at its heart lies something even more transformative: soul contracts. Soul contracts aren't imposed upon you. They are consciously chosen by you, by your eternal soul. With complete awareness and divine intention, the concept suggests that before entering this physical realm, your soul convenes in a higher dimension, a space beyond time, and carefully designs a blueprint for your earthly experience. You decide whom you'll meet, what life themes you'll explore, and which karmic patterns you might resolve. You even select the hardships not as punishments, but as sacred opportunities to evolve, awaken, and heal. This understanding changes everything. It reframes pain as purpose, struggle as sacred, and relationships as mirrors reflecting your soul's deepest truths. Imagine discovering that your most difficult experiences weren't random accidents, but powerful lessons you courageously agreed to undertake for your soul's expansion. In this exploration, we'll uncover the complete story of soul contracts and pre-birth planning. We'll reveal how this invisible framework may be shaping your life in ways you've never realized, and how this knowledge can radically transform your sense of meaning, empowerment, and inner peace. By the end, you may see your entire existence from a higher vantage point and recognize just how divinely orchestrated it truly is. Reisendir is understanding soul contracts. Soul contracts are spiritual agreements your soul creates before incarnating into this lifetime. These contracts aren't written in ink or bound by earthly law. They're forged in the realm of spirit, guided by higher intelligence and your soul's profound desire to grow, evolve, and remember its true nature. The fundamental principle is that your soul consciously selects specific experiences, relationships, and life challenges before birth to fulfill a greater purpose or learn essential lessons. Unlike physical contracts focused on control, soul contracts center entirely on growth. They're designed to place you in situations that trigger awakening, challenge your ego, and activate your deepest gifts. These contracts may involve learning forgiveness, reclaiming your authentic voice, stepping into personal power, or breaking generational patterns. Sometimes they include experiences that feel painful or bewildering: loss, betrayal, rejection, not because you deserve suffering, but because your soul recognizes these as catalysts for profound transformation. Soul contracts often involve other souls, people you feel inexplicably drawn to or challenged by. These may be soulmates, family members, or even adversaries, each playing crucial roles in your soul's curriculum. Some contracts are gentle, filled with love and support. Others are intense, designed to shake you into awakening. Yet all are rooted in divine agreement, made with love, compassion, and shared intention for mutual evolution. Importantly, soul contracts don't eliminate free will or create rigid destiny. Instead, they establish themes and opportunities you'll encounter. What you do with them remains entirely your choice. Imagine your soul set the stage, invited the actors, and provided a general storyline, but the actual script is still being written by you, moment by precious moment. When you begin recognizing that your life isn't random, that your experiences may be part of sacred agreements, everything shifts. You start asking different questions. Instead of "why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "what is this here to teach me?" That simple shift in awareness becomes your first step toward reclaiming your power and remembering the soul-level reasons you came here. How the sacred process of pre-birth planning. Before entering this life, many spiritual teachings suggest we participate in an extraordinary process known as pre-birth planning, a profound and intricate preparation occurring at the soul level. In this sacred space beyond time and physical form, your soul, along with guides, elders, and members of your soul family, gathers to carefully design the blueprint of your upcoming incarnation. This isn't a casual or random process. It's deeply intentional, driven by your soul's desire to grow, balance karma, expand consciousness, and serve others. With guidance from what many describe as a council of elders, beings of immense wisdom and compassion, you review past lives, assess unresolved patterns, and decide what lessons and themes you wish to explore in your next human experience. During this sacred planning, Key decisions unfold. You choose the general circumstances of your birth, your family, location, even genetic predispositions, not as punishments or rewards, but as ideal conditions for your chosen soul lessons to manifest. For example, a soul seeking to learn self-worth may choose circumstances where external validation is scarce, cultivating inner strength instead. A soul wanting to understand forgiveness may contract with another soul to experience betrayal, painful in human terms, yet sacred in spiritual context. What's remarkable is that many people you'll meet were part of this planning process. You may have created agreements with specific souls to play meaningful roles: parents, siblings, friends, lovers, teachers, or even so-called enemies. These are your soul contracts manifesting. These souls aren't randomly assigned. They're volunteers stepping into roles you both agreed upon, often from deep love and mutual spiritual purpose. Pre-birth planning also encompasses challenges, illness, loss, limitations, not because your soul desires suffering, but because these experiences serve as catalysts. They awaken compassion, strip away illusion, and guide you toward deeper truths. They become the pressure that reveals the diamond within. Yet even with extensive preparation, nothing is fully predetermined. One sacred principle honored in pre-birth planning is free will. You're not forced to follow a strict script. Rather, you're given potential paths, key intersections, and energetic contracts. How you navigate those paths remains entirely up to you. You possess the power to grow through joy or pain, through resistance or surrender. Sometimes people awaken to this plan midlife, often after crisis, spiritual awakening, or deep inner calling. They begin sensing their life unfolding according to something greater, soul intention, not just personal desire. In those moments, life stops feeling random and starts feeling sacred. Pre-birth planning isn't about fate, it's about purpose. It's your soul's way of declaring, I am here for a reason. I have chosen this path, and I trust myself to grow through it. Once you connect with this truth, everything transforms. Suffering gains meaning, relationships gain depth, and your life becomes more than random events. It becomes a divine journey of remembrance and return, a life themes and soul lessons. When your soul prepares for incarnation, one of the most vital aspects of pre-birth planning is selecting life themes and soul lessons, the deep spiritual truths you came to remember, embody, or master. These themes aren't random or imposed. They're chosen with intention, shaped by your soul's past experiences, karmic evolution, and the growth you seek in this lifetime. Common soul themes include self-worth, unconditional love, power and humility, freedom, forgiveness, patience, trust, and balance. These themes often serve as the backbone of your human journey, weaving through relationships, career choices, health experiences, and even struggles that seem to repeat endlessly. For instance, if your soul chose the theme of self-worth, you may find yourself born into family or social environments where your value is constantly questioned, not to punish you, but to awaken within you the power to define worth from within. If your theme is forgiveness, you may encounter betrayal or abandonment, not as cruelty, but as soul contracts designed to help you transcend resentment and open your heart. These aren't punishments. They're sacred invitations. Sometimes themes manifest as persistent patterns, attracting similar toxic relationships, facing recurring health issues, always feeling blocked when expressing your true self. When you view these patterns through the lens of soul lessons, they begin making sense. The question shifts from why is this happening to me to what is this teaching me? That shift becomes your first step in transforming pain into wisdom. It's crucial to understand that life themes aren't chosen in isolation. Your soul may decide to explore multiple themes simultaneously, perhaps learning both personal empowerment and spiritual surrender, or balancing service to others with self-care. Each theme interacts with others, creating a multi-dimensional path of learning. Interestingly, many people you encounter are integral to these themes. Your parents might challenge you to establish boundaries. A romantic partner might mirror your wounds until you find healing. Even a child or coworker might trigger unexpected emotional growth. These are all part of the curriculum your soul lovingly established. Yet nothing is fixed. While themes are chosen, how you engage with them remains your choice. You can resist, avoid, or embrace them with curiosity and courage. The deeper truth is this: your soul isn't trying to break you, it's trying to awaken you. Sometimes awakening requires pressure, contrast, and repeated invitations to journey within. Recognizing your life themes can be profoundly empowering. You begin seeing your life as a classroom, not a courtroom. You stop labeling yourself as cursed or unlucky and start recognizing yourself as a soul in progress, perfectly aligned with a powerful spiritual journey. Perhaps most importantly, you realize the hardest parts of your life were never meaningless. They were precisely the lessons your soul was brave enough to choose. Like your soul contracts with others. One of the most profound and sometimes challenging aspects of soul contracts is that they often involve other souls. Before incarnation, we don't plan our journey in isolation. We coordinate with other souls, members of our soul family, to co-create experiences supporting mutual growth. These are the people who will walk alongside us, teach us, challenge us, love us, or even break us open. Some soul agreements are with those we call soulmates, not just romantic partners, but anyone with whom we share deep soul bonds. These connections often feel immediate and inexplicable. You meet someone for the first time yet feel you've known them forever. That's not just chemistry, that's soul recognition. In many cases, you've traveled together through multiple lifetimes, playing different roles to help each other evolve. But not all soul contracts are gentle or comforting. Some are deliberately challenging. In spiritual realms, these individuals are sometimes called sacred adversaries or soul catalysts, people who push your buttons, trigger deepest wounds, or force you to confront parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. While it may feel cruel on the surface, these souls have agreed, often from great love, to play painful roles in your life so you can awaken, heal, and reclaim your power. For instance, a soul may agree to play a neglectful parent so you can learn self-nurturing. Another might become a betraying partner so you can finally confront abandonment wounds or break generational dependency patterns. These contracts are never made lightly. They're formed with full awareness of pain involved and complete faith in your ability to transform that pain into wisdom. It's crucial to understand these agreements are mutual. Just as someone helps you fulfill lessons, you help them fulfill theirs. You may be their teacher, mirror, or wake-up call, often without realizing it. In this sense, every meaningful connection, regardless of brevity or turbulence, holds spiritual significance. Then there are temporary soul contracts, relationships that are intense and meaningful but not meant to last. They enter your life to serve specific purposes, and when fulfilled, the contract's energy dissolves. Clinging to these connections from fear or attachment creates suffering, but releasing them with gratitude allows both souls to move forward in alignment. Understanding that relationships operate on this higher level can radically shift how we approach connection. Instead of asking, "Why did this person hurt me?" we begin asking, "What did this connection awaken within me?" Instead of blaming others for our pain, we look inward for lessons, reclaiming our power, not as victims of fate, but as conscious co-creators of our spiritual path. At the soul level, everything is love, even contracts that feel like conflict. When you begin seeing divine orchestration behind your relationships, even heartbreak becomes sacred. You're breaking and evolving soul contracts. One of the most empowering realizations in understanding soul contracts is this: they aren't set in stone. While these spiritual agreements are made before birth with deep wisdom and purpose, they aren't unbreakable chains. Instead, they function as energetic blueprints, guidelines, not rigid scripts. Your soul may have chosen certain lessons, themes, and people, but as a human being with free will, you always possess the power to evolve beyond them. Sometimes a soul contract has served its purpose. You've learned the lesson, integrated the wisdom, and the energetic thread begins dissolving. Other times, contracts may be renegotiated at soul level, especially if intended growth has been achieved differently, or if continuing the experience would hinder rather than support evolution. In essence, consciousness itself can alter destiny's course. This is why spiritual awakening is so powerful. When you begin remembering who you truly are, a sovereign soul with agency, awareness, and divine spark, you start shifting your entire life's vibration. You become less reactive, more intentional. Patterns that once repeated can begin falling away. You might suddenly feel called to leave toxic relationships, change careers, or release lifelong belief systems. These are often signs that soul contracts are dissolving, or that you're stepping into new ones, better aligned with your awakened self. There are cases where certain contracts were created for potential timelines. But as consciousness evolves, those timelines become obsolete. The soul is wise and adaptive. It doesn't cling to suffering for suffering's sake. If a contract was to awaken self-love through abandonment, But you've already cultivated that love through healing work. Abandonment no longer needs to manifest. Growth can be accelerated through awareness. However, not all contracts can be changed instantly or easily. Some are core to your soul's mission and must be honored through their full arc. These may include long-term health conditions, deep karmic entanglements, or soul promises made across many lifetimes. But even then, your relationship to the contract can transform. You may not erase the challenge, but you can rise above it with grace, strength, and divine purpose. Ultimately, soul contracts are tools for liberation, not limitation. The more you awaken, the more flexible and fluid your reality becomes. You shift from being a passive participant in your life story to being a conscious editor, even co-author. That's the great paradox. By surrendering to your soul's plan, you gain power to reshape it. In the end, your soul contracts were never about locking you into fate. They were about empowering you to remember that you're not just living a life. You're evolving through it. And in that evolution, nothing is ever truly fixed, only guided by love. Are you remembering your soul contracts? Remembering your soul contracts isn't about uncovering physical documents or hearing loud, heavenly voices. It's about tuning into the subtle language of your intuition, emotions, and life patterns. While pre-birth planning details are often veiled from conscious minds, traces of these agreements remain woven into your daily experiences. If you pay close attention, your soul will begin whispering its truth. One of the most powerful ways to sense soul contracts is through repeating life themes. Do you keep encountering the same kind of relationship, the same type of challenge, or the same emotional wound no matter where you go? These loops aren't coincidences, they're clues. Your soul may be offering the same lesson from different angles until the contract is fulfilled and deeper truth is integrated. Another sign is instant, intense connections, both positive and challenging. Have you ever met someone and felt you've known them forever, despite just meeting, or felt unexplainable emotional charge around someone who seems insignificant on the surface? These may indicate soul contracts in motion, karmic energy, reactivated from another time, here to be healed or fulfilled. Intuition is a sacred tool in this process. Sometimes you just know something in your life is meant to be, even if it's difficult. You feel deep resonance with "this matters" even without logical proof. That feeling isn't random. It's your soul recognizing contracts at play. To deepen this connection, many turn to soul work practices like meditation, dream journaling, shadow work, and energy healing. These tools help quiet ego noise so you can hear your higher self more clearly. You might also explore past life regression, Akashic record readings, or work with intuitive guides to gain insight into your life's larger spiritual arc. But perhaps the most grounded way to remember soul contracts is asking, what am I being called to learn in this moment? What keeps showing up in my life and why? What would change if I saw this experience as something I chose? These simple yet profound questions can open doorways of understanding. They shift you from resistance to curiosity, from victimhood to empowerment. As you begin living with greater awareness, contracts begin revealing themselves, not always as visions or voices, but as inner clarity, peace, and alignment. The truth is, your soul is always trying to help you remember, not through force, but through resonance. When you align with that inner knowing, life begins making more sense. Even painful chapters carry sacred undertones. You begin trusting your journey not because it's easy, but because it's divinely authored. And in that remembrance, something powerful awakens. The realization that you are not lost, you are precisely where your soul intended you to be. Conclusion: embracing your sacred journey. Now that you've seen the complete picture of soul contracts and pre-birth planning, take a moment to breathe it in, not just as an idea, but as a profound shift in perspective. What if the pain you've carried wasn't meaningless? What if the people who challenged you most were actually playing sacred roles in your growth? What if every step you've taken, especially the hardest ones, was part of divine unfolding you chose for your evolution? This isn't about blaming yourself for struggles or bypassing real emotions. It's about reclaiming your power. It's recognizing that you are not a passive observer of life. You are a soul in motion, a co-creator walking through a beautifully complex sacred journey. And you're not alone. Every soul you meet is on a similar path, playing their role, learning their lessons, fulfilling their own contracts. So what does this mean for you? It means your story matters. Your healing matters. And your choices from this point forward hold tremendous power. When you align with your soul's intentions, life begins feeling less random and more guided. You start asking better questions. You start living with purpose. And maybe, just maybe, you'll begin to forgive, not just others, but yourself. You'll begin trusting your path even when it's difficult. And you'll carry the quiet strength of someone who remembers, I chose this, and I am becoming who I came here to be. Thank you for being here. If this touched something deep within you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Your soul is listening and your journey is only just beginning.